If we don't know anything else, we know that life be life. Stuff come at us from every angle, and when I say us, because we all have it, it's called stress. In today's video, we're going to talk about the different stressors, how they impact your life, and then strategies on how to take care of those stressors, because one thing we do know is that they are going to come. Now, if you're new to this series, I need you to pause the video, go back and watch the previous videos so that you can be on the same accord to where we're at today. All right, let's get it. So imagine stress as a backpack that we have as we go throughout life in this journey. And at different points, different stressors can hold various weights. So that backpack, it ebbs and flows with the weight depending on where you're at in life. So the first thing we're going to talk about is acute stress. Acute stress is this immediately in the moment, and it could be like a couple of books added to that backpack of life, right? It's in the moment, it's a little heavier, but it's manageable. You can do it. A great example is track and field. I'm an avid track fan, and when that runner gets up to the starting blocks, all kind of butterflies and bubble guts come up, and that's needed because it's adrenaline rush and it's going to get them through that moment. But after that race is over, it comes down, it goes level, and it's manageable. That would be acute stress. Now, if you find yourself with acute stress and you want to talk to your professional about it, during that session, you may want to talk about stress management skills as well as coping skills. That's a great place to start. The next type of stress is chronic stress, and it's just like taking actual books and adding them to the backpack, and you're just creating more books over time, and they're constantly coming at you. It can be coming at you from work, it could be coming at you from school, it could be coming at you from family, and as you can see, it begins to get bigger. And you have to redistribute this weight. And if it's not taken care of over time, it can actually start leading into a mental illness, right? But with the chronic stress, the way you can handle it is begin to focus on self-care. What does that look like for you? Maybe it's eating a healthier meals for yourself, drinking your water, getting your sleep, just figuring out what helps you feel better and to be able to effectively redistribute this weight. If you seek help with chronic stress, and I truly advise this is a time where you're probably going to start needing some more help outside of yourself. With that, you want to focus on self-care and figure out what does it look like for you? What is it that you need to help nurture you, make you feel good so that you can handle what life is throwing at you, and also to become stronger over a period of time to handle what you need to handle. Let's talk about traumatic stress. When that happens, it's just like taking major books and just drop them in. It hits in the life in the moment. If you find that there's some kind of traumatic thing that has happened to you, you need to stop and go seek professional help. It is almost impossible for you to do this by yourself and not be a danger to yourself and or to others. It is impossible, almost impossible to move forward and go where you want to go without dealing with these past experiences and taking them out. It has gotten too heavy. You need to be able to get some help to be able to redistribute the backpack and the weight and the stressors so that they're manageable, and you can go back to being in a spot where it's just a little bit and you can deal with it. Now, when you're seeking professional help, you're looking for a trained professional that is trained in EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, or brain spotting, and they also are known to be trauma informed and trauma trained to really help you. If you're working with someone who doesn't have these skill sets, they can re-traumatize you and you could be reliving that horrible event over and over. And we ain't trying to do all that. Like, we trying to move forward our life. We are not trying to stay stuck in that pattern. So let's talk about toxic stress. It in itself is a doozy. Toxic stress is like having all of the books in the backpack that we know about, but taking a liquid and starting to pour it on the contents of the bag. And not only does it weigh the bag down, but it begins to damage everything inside of it. And with toxic stress, it tends to occur from adverse things that happened in your childhood and you've been carrying around, and it just leaks and spills all into this bag. Because it happened in childhood, it could be some negligence, some abuse, toxic family environment, dysfunctional family, all of that. And what's happened is that as you were growing, your brain was growing and it was literally changing in response to the stressors that was put on it. And so the way the brain develops, it is on high alert at all times. And you feel the need to protect yourself even when there's no threat. Everything is a threat. And you're on hyper alert, hyper vigilant. If you found that something I just said, you can absolutely identify with it, please seek professional help to help you navigate and begin to take the toxins and the things that are poisonous out of your system so that you can operate. And what does that look like? If you go to therapy, you're going to want to work on making a focus on your attachment styles. It's what we call a secure attachment, because baby, if you were in a dysfunctional family, there ain't nothing secure about it at all. So you need to learn what does that look like for you and have someone help you figure that out. Next, focus on emotional regulation. More than likely, things set you off. They make you pop off one way or the other. Either you run or you get angry a lot. And so you need to learn how to regulate your emotions and identify the emotions and where they at. And in the description, I will have some links to help you along the way with any of the types of stressors that you're going through. Now we're talking about environmental stress. What is environmental stress, you ask? What is she talking about? Think about it this way. We got our backpack. We're on this life journey where things are going great. We finish how to manage it, and all of a sudden, maybe there's a physical stressor where it's a pothole in the middle of the street where we're trying to walk through. Or another physical would be you're walking and then you just hear gunfire. So your body knows I am not safe in this kind of stressful. Or finances, where there's more bills than money at the end of the month. Those are all environmental things. They are external forces that are creating stress in your life, and you have to navigate it. Now, when you find yourself in that situation and you're working with a professional to help you, I would say learn some self-management techniques, learn some relaxation techniques, because some of the things you can't change. So you're just gonna have to learn how to manage the physical response your body is having, as well as depending on where you're living. If you're living in a highly noise polluting area or area where there is a lot of unsafe things happening, become an advocate. Become an advocate for yourself and where you live and the people that you live for, just to be able to try your best to change the living conditions that you're surrounded with. Let's look into occupational stress, or I like to say job stress, stress on the job. And it may, as we're on the journey with our backpack, it's already loaded with the other stuff that we have, but now take it at maybe some deadlines, not having control of your work, or microaggressions in the job place, or people that have projects that they're not doing their load. So that means that you got to work overtime and you have less time with your family and friends, and it just becomes a bit much, overwhelming, to the point where you either no longer have enthusiasm about the job, you're burnt out, you don't even care anymore. You don't care if you get paid. Well, you care if you get paid, but you don't care if the project get done or whatever. And you try to wake up in the morning and you just really do not want to go to work. That's what occupational stress can do. And the way that you can handle that is that you learn how to time manage. Put around boundaries. No, I will not do that at this time. This is my work time. Also, maybe you learn some project management skills where, okay, I need to do this. Also learn how to delegate. That's not my job. I need you to do your job so you get paid for doing what you're supposed to do. Like, those are ways to help manage work stress. Now, if you find yourself needing professional help, and yes, if you're burnt out and you worked out, you need professional help regardless, so you don't just quit your job or go off on everybody at your job. When you're seeking professional help, when you go to counseling, therapy, or work with a performance coach, now you want to work on communication skills with your coworkers. You want to work on time management skills. You want to work on setting boundaries and honoring those boundaries, not in a destructive way or in a ain't nobody gonna do this way, but in a more of, this is my yes and my no's, and my yes means yes and my no's means no's. And if I tell you no, then you take on your own work. That's some ways to deal with occupational stress. Now let's talk family stressors. Man, that's like a big one for a lot of people. And family stressors, we're all on this journey, and maybe somebody's dealing with a marital conflict, right? And it's in your bag. But then your spouse or somebody else in there, and they come in and they have their bags, and now our bags are interconnected, and maybe they're dealing with stuff from their childhood that they brought into it and they ain't really dealt with. And so it's all starting to be, all our bags are starting to connect with each other. And as we're going through this journey, you know, they're all tied up. And the next one could be, well, the child done has some things that happened at school, and now that we're dealing with the school things, that's another piece that's being added onto your burden and your load. And if one person's bag began to shift, everybody's bags begin to shift. And how do we redistribute this? And we're thinking we're good, and then something happens to impact our entire family, and we just get it just feels like, will this ever stop, right? When you're dealing with this kind of stresses, you most definitely need some help. It's too much. It's too much. So when you're seeking professional help, go to a family therapist. And please don't send just one person to the therapist and think, oh, well, they good, we all good. No, everybody has to do their work, because we're coming from different angles and different things, and what I'm unpacking may be totally different from what you're unpacking, but they all bring stressors and carry this load on our family. And don't expect for one person to do the work and think we all benefit. We do benefit some, but we benefit more when everybody does the work. Learn how to talk to each other. Like, learn how to talk to each other. That is key. Don't make people guess what you're thinking. Be able to communicate your needs and then to hear what their needs are. Also, conflict resolution, because sometimes we're going to have to agree to disagree. And that means that no love lost between me and you. We just don't see eye to eye with it. Doesn't make you wrong, doesn't make me right. It just is. And we can learn how to live in peace, recognizing that we're going to agree to disagree on this one. Now, to put everything that we just talked about in bite-sized pieces, we got acute stress. That's immediate, it's ongoing, and you may want to deal with coping skills and self-management skills. Then we have chronic. That's when a lot of burdens keep coming on and things are constantly getting added, and then it becomes more heavier to distribute that weight. Now you want to focus on stress management skills, maybe some relaxation techniques, and how to be able to strengthen yourself so you can deal with some of the things as they come to you over time. The next one is traumatic stress. That is when something happens in the moment. It is life altering. You can even be life-threatening to you. That is when you most definitely need professional help. You would probably want someone who is trained in trauma therapy or trauma-informed. They need to know EMDR or either brain spotting or techniques of that nature, because it's not just talking now. We don't want to re-traumatize you. We want to get from here to here and get you cleaned up and keep on. I don't mean cleaned up. What you gotta do to get you to move forward in your life faster. The next one is environmental stressors. There are things that are external, they're outside of your reach, and they're coming in and they're disturbing your life. And so with that, you most definitely need to learn some breathing techniques, some relaxation techniques, and also some advocacy skills to have things be changed in the environment. The next one is occupational, where it is maybe some microaggressions and things that are coming at you, and maybe work-life balance is completely off. What you want to do is work with a professional to help you do some time management, to do some boundary setting and some communication with your coworkers. And finally, we can look at family stress. And with family stressors, there's so many dynamics going on. Everybody got their bags. You need to go seek family therapy together so everyone can get worked on, not just one person, the person that we saying is the bad person, but everybody gets some of that good information and they're able to unlock their chains of the stressors that we all carrying ourselves and be able to distribute the weight. And we want to focus on communication skills, we want to focus on family dynamics, and we want to focus on how to show up for each other. I take responsibility for me and how I show up, you take responsibility for you and how you show up, and we can live amicably together. Now, if there's something I said that you can identify with, but even if not you, your brother, cousin, sister, friend do, go ahead and share it, like it, comment. I know one of these hit home. Let me know which one just like, bam, okay, I need to take my tail to therapy, or I need to work on some of these things, because Yeah, I felt that in my soul.